Welcome to Podlemania Podcast, your photography and video podcast, where we introduce you to some of the most amazing creatives from around the world. I'm your host, Wayne Johns, and I'm here, as always, with my good friend, buddy, and co-host, Jake Hicks. Hey, man.
How you doing?
It's a time
we are flying solo-ish
be
today.
jolly. Da, 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 da. It's one of those seasons, mate, isn't it? It's one of those,
Yeah.
It's that time.
Yeah. But it's just us today. So, I mean, we can get intimate, as they say.
It's getting a little, hold on, let me move closer to the mic for this one. Well, hey, how you doing, Christmas bunny? I got weird then, actually. Yeah, a bit weird.
So,
bit weird.
I mean, normally we would have a guest, but I think for these Christmas ones, it's a good opportunity to have a look back, reflect, look forward.
Reflect already, yeah. No, mate, it's good. We do one, for the whole time the podcast has been running. We always do a little Wayne and Jake Christmas episode, just as a filler, really, over the Christmas period.
Can you think last year, where we were last year, 12 months ago?
12 months ago, we
were at the Fuji House.
We were live.
Doing this live.
Fuji Film's House of Photography that had not long opened then. Yeah.
Other human beings in the same room with us.
They were in the room. They were. We could see.
It seems like a million years ago, man.
Yeah,
I think that we were doing that back a year ago, recording that when now, I mean, you'd be strung up for doing something so irresponsible.
I know, man. I know. Well, I mean, this one, let's just give an overview of what we're going to be just going over in this one for the fun episode before people switch us off, to find out what we're doing.
Oh, right, yeah.
But no, you're right. But yeah, welcome everybody. This is episode 37, and this is our Christmas episode. So it's basically where me and Jake get together, and like you said, we reflect over the past year, and we're going to talk about some fun stuff. And it's basically our Christmas special where you get to listen to some amazing guests, but not this one. Just me and Jake, I'm afraid. Me and Jake. But we're going to talk about some fun stuff where we're a little bit more lighthearted, let's say, where we don't probe guests about their personal lives and their business and their techniques, probing into their lives. But we are going to be talking about what makes a good present for a creative. If you're stuck for that one, don't listen to us. We'll probably get that wrong. What new toys and gadgets are available for people that are, tech-hungry beasts, and what they can put under their tree. And of course, both Jake and I will be giving each other, this is a first time event, Jake. We will be giving each other the 10-question rapid fire, not so rapid fire round. Definitely.
Yeah, I'm glad that I was aware of this before we hit record, so I was fully prepared.
I like it when you're so prepared, mate. Pure professionalism.
Yours are just all going to be about stuff around my room at the moment.
By the way, it's a first time, mate. We've never done the 10-question rapid fire round individually, let alone both together in one show. So that part's definitely not to be missed.
We also got some listener questions in here as well. I did put out the question on Facebook and Instagram just before we hit record. As always, as people will know, I am not the most organised, so I did only give the community an hour to respond.
Oh, brilliant!
But we do have a few questions in there, which I think is pretty poignant for 2020. Which is so we'll definitely be going over those as well.
And just that's a good point actually. And just to remind people before we get into it, that you can tune into Podlemania on all main podcast players like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, as well as about 35 other podcast players that are out there in the market. As far as we know, might even be more. And of course, you can find all our episodes and a bit more about us in the blog over at podlemania.com on our website, where you can subscribe so that you don't miss out on all the amazing guests we have coming up in 2021, which are awesome. And likewise, if you've got some questions for the show, you can just drop us an email via the contact form on podlemania.com. We'd love to, see what sort of things you want to put to us. It can be photography, video, anything creative related, makeup, movie, sound, whatever you want. If we don't know the answer, I'm sure we know somebody that does. So that would be good. Or maybe they can be a guest on the show. Even better. And remember, if you'd like to help support the show, you can always pop over to our website at podlemania.com/donate page. and donate whatever you feel is worthy. That's what I say. Every dollar or pound helps us keep the lights on here at Podlemania so that we can keep these amazing guests and their lives in your ears. Especially for 2021, mate. Some more amazing people coming up. And of course, it means that if you do donate and help us keep that running, we'll just love you a little bit more. Nice and simple. There you go. There you go. Serious bit over, man. Now it's Christmas time. Gotta say, mate, in all honesty, I was expecting to see you come out in a full Santa suit.
For you, mate, anything. Yeah, I mean, it is crotchless, but you can't see it from where you are. But it's there,
true.
Mate, it's there.
True. Yeah. I mean, it's a shame that this is only audio. The guests are just missing out. That's all I can say, mate. Eye candy for the masses. Yeah. Eye candy for the masses. Oh, it depends what type of candy you're into, I suppose. You know,
true.
Whatever floats your boat. So, okay, moving forward, should we just do a little recap on the past year, just to go over some of the amazing guests that we've had on the show?
Yeah.
Because
we've done because we went to once a fortnight.
Yeah, we're every fortnight now. Every 2 weeks we go out. So it's generally the 1st and the 15th of every month that we go out now because demand came in and. We had to, people were asking for more than one episode a month. So we had to.
So we just split the episode into 2 parts.
Well, do you know what? That would have been a great idea, but we ended up filming double-length episodes and having to split them into 2 because they were so bloody long.
Yeah, there were some. I think there was only a couple of those this year, but yeah, which was good. Yeah, we managed to keep the guests wrangled in a little bit.
That's right, man. So, yeah, just as a short overview for listeners, if you haven't gone through the playlist at all, we'll just do a little summary. We won't go into too much detail, but if you haven't listened to some of these, then go back over previous episodes, especially over the Christmas period, where it seems everybody's got lots of time at the moment for some strange reason, where they're not visiting people, whatever. So, yeah, plug yourself in, have some peace and quiet, listen to a podcast. So we go back to January, 15th of January. We had episode 20 with Clay Cook, fashion portrait and advertising photographer, based out of Kentucky.
That's crazy, man, to think that was, a year ago.
Yeah, I know.
It just feels like such a long time. Yeah, Clay. I mean, we spent some time with Clay in Puerto Rico. What feels like another million years ago as well. I mean, he is he definitely portrays himself as a fantastic individual online, but he is certainly an absolute legend in person as well. So definitely have listened to that because he's got some great insights into the charity work and stuff that he does.
Yeah, covered a lot of his charity work as well. Yeah, that's awesome. But as a fashion portrait and advertising photographer, his work's gorgeous. Yeah, really, really nice. But listen to that. Clay's, like you say, Clay's a lovely guy as well. Great to speak to. Great to have a drink with as well if you ever get the chance. And then episode 21, we moved over and we spoke to Alistair Jolly from Smugmug. That was a bit more sort of technical and online stuff about websites,
business-wise, yeah. Because
and Flickr and all that kind of things.
Because Smugmug acquired Flickr and the 5 trillion people that were on there. So I mean, that was if you're interested in the heavy industry talk, then that's certainly an episode to check out.
That's right. And then we managed to sneak in a cheeky one in February, mate, with us, where we were talking about film, as in analog film for cameras, where we were saying film is not dead. That was the title of that episode 22.
That's right. I think that sort of came about. I mean, I think a couple of weeks previous, or even a month, certainly around that sort of time, I purchased a medium format film camera again. I've certainly been without one for decades, but yeah, picking one back up again. It was the Pentax 6.7. Beautiful camera. I used it again last week actually on a shoot. I'd try and roll through it when I can.
Yeah.
I suppose we were talking about the sort of the beauty and the and the time that it takes to compose a shot when you know that every shot costs you money. You change the way that you shoot. And I would recommend anybody who wants to sort of get back into that is to try film, and it forces you to stop and just like, where do I want to take the shot? Is this a good composition rather than just a but that we normally do with digital?
Yeah, damn right, man. Yeah. Get back in there and get into it for sure. Then we moved in episode 23. This is an in-person one, mate. That was actually quite fun to do as well. We went and saw another great guy, great photographer in the commercial world, and that's Dan Kennedy, fashion and celebrity portrait photographer. We had a bundle of fun in there, didn't we? The room was a bit like a goldfish bowl, and it was a glass office.
There was up in London, the goldfish bowls, yeah.
Yeah, it's a strange environment.
Yeah, so that's we recorded that in like one of those, I don't know, like hot desks, whatever they're called.
Hot hubs.
So rent a desk, whatever it was up there in London. And I would get far too distracted far too easily to work there. But
yeah. To be fair, it did feel like we were. I was waiting for people to put sort of coins in the slot, mate, and waiting for our curtains to open in the room we were in. It's but I mean, the location aside, Dan Kennedy, a great commercial.
Oh yeah, Dan as well. Yeah, sorry, not just the location.
So, you'll see Dan's work in all the Sunday Times magazines and everything else like that with his celebrity portraiture and fashion work as well. So yeah, great guy. And if you ever get to see one of Dan's workshops as well, when they're back in real person sort of scenarios, go to one of them because he's a font of knowledge and really, really approachable. Yeah. And then we moved on. We moved on to moving image side, a bit of cinema production. And that was with Archie Brooksbank from Bladesman Productions, who's a DP and DOP.
If you want to hear a very, how should we say?
Lively, full-bodied character. It's like a bottle of wine, isn't it?
Full-bodied character, yeah. Archie was crazy, man. Yeah, it was great. I mean, then we actually split that into 2 episodes because he had a lot of knowledge.
Yeah. Massive. Yeah. If you had to describe Archie, how would you describe him? For me, I'd be like a really nice full-bodied red bottle of wine with the fizz of a bottle of champagne built in. I think.
Yeah, I get the feeling that if you went out with a drink with him, you would always have an interesting evening. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, and a great guy that's made big impact in the world. Coming from sort of very humble background in terms of the film industry. So yeah, listen to that as well. That's fun. And then obviously, it came to this sad times about, we decided to jump in and do a Stay Creative and Create at Home. That was a COVID-19 sort of story back in
that was the middle of what, April?
April.
I mean, Christ, little did we know.
Little did we know we'd still be in it now and deeper. Yeah. Yeah. It's just about talking how to stay creative during lockdown and not lose your mojo, so to speak, I think. Because it can affect everybody mentally. We spoke about that as well, the mental stress that it has on.
Go back and have a listen to that and see what we said, because obviously so much has changed since then.
Since then, even. Yeah, how that changed. That'll probably need an update soon as well. And then episode 27, we come in and we spoke to the lovely Elizabeth Hoff, who's a fashion and beauty photographer and art director. And she was an amazing woman. I mean, there's a woman that sailed the world single-handedly. Attended solo around the world, didn't she? And almost died in the process. But that was a crazy story of how she's, come to be where she is today and from where she's come from. I mean, a woman that loves a challenge, Elizabeth Hoff, definitely. Not
fascinating too. Because because you say something like that, or you sailed around the world, and she was like, well, why wouldn't I? Like, sort of thing. It was just totally just like,
Why wouldn't I just try and sleep in a sea with 20-foot swell that's throwing my boat upside down in the dark? Yeah, why not?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
well, I almost drowned. Yeah, lovely. Yeah, of course. And then we come into episode 28, where we finally managed to pin down the photographer and activist Benjamin Von Wong, who we've been trying to get booked in for a long time.
Yeah. I think probably about 6 months. I think it was only because he was locked at home with his parents that we managed to get him on.
Yeah, he's always off around the world doing projects, isn't he? But so Ben sort of describes himself as a visual engineer and a hyper-realist storyteller rather than a photographer, which is strange.
Well, I think now engineering is certainly a fundamental part of who he is, and like now you see he's got his podcast and he does those like the cover shots with those paper cuts, which is essentially a scene cut with lots of silhouettes and in several layers, and then he puts lights behind them, and this is for each of the person. Some of them are absolutely incredible. I don't know how he has the patience to do it, but
true, man.
Yeah, remarkable mind for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely want to watch. To watch, if only want to listen to.
Yeah.
And then we jumped in with a podcasting guru himself, Neil James. Neil James obviously is one of the hosts of the FujiCast. Good friends of ours, along with Kevin Mullins. Both Fuji photographers. So in sort of my boat, if you want to call it that, my camera boat. But of course, Neil James used to be a BBC Radio 1 presenter many years ago. So it comes from the radio presenting background. Hence
he shot like 3,000 weddings or something. What was it?
Yeah, something crazy, man. Crazy. Yeah.
Mental.
But there's a man with a very smooth radio voice. For sure, 100%. Yeah, but their podcast is great. So yeah, FujiCast, there's another one if you need another podcast. It's not all about Fuji cameras and photography, by the way. They do cover everything and have amazing guests on as well. But Neil was great fun. It's like he said, it was strange for him to be let out the bag, wasn't it? He doesn't get to talk about himself very much. So he quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, true. Yeah, true.
So 30, James Nader. Oh, God. See, that's what happens. I haven't got any Christmas tipple on the go yet either. Jeez, man. But yeah, James Nader, fashion and advertising photographer as well, has shot some great calendars with some great stars. So yeah, James had some business insights as well, I think, about websites and SEO optimization and how important search engine optimization is for your webs and Google and search engines and websites and all that kind of thing. So yeah, not just all about photography. So that was nice to have something a bit deeper in that. And about some of his creativity as well. I think that was cool. And then, episode 31. After that one, our good friend who's, I think just his fine art portraiture and his lighting is just sublime. And that's Jan Gonzalez.
Yeah, beautiful work. No question, yeah.
Beautiful work. And if you look at Jan's website, you notice he turns his hand to quite a different batch of subjects.
That's what I was about to say. I think he's very multi-talented. On top of that, he really touches all his own work as well. And it may seem obvious to some of you, but trust me, at the higher ends, most people don't retouch their own work. And the reason I say that is because the quality of his retouching is beautiful. Absolutely incredible. So definitely have a look at his work, and please listen to his stories as well. He certainly had a life of it. Where's he based? He's out in Malaysia?
Yeah, it is. It is that way, isn't it? It's in... I can't remember exactly where it is.
Yeah,
Sorry, Jan. Yeah. Sorry, Jan, we haven't got notes in front of us to read that deep in. But yeah, it is.
I think I had to get up early for that one, if I remember. But
yeah, you did. Yeah, that was a first as well. And then talking about retouching, your own beautiful work, episode 32, we moved on to Dennis Dunbar, who's a digital artist and world-class retoucher.
So he does the movie posters, right?
Movie posters for,
Jumanji and like the...
he's done so many. I mean, the list goes on, doesn't it? Yeah, but things like Jumanji posters and stuff like that is Dennis's work, yeah.
That's right, yeah.
But he gets in deep into colour theory, doesn't he? And layers and
it's interesting. I mean,
sharpening and...
Yeah, like the movie industry is very strict, like comedies all have white background, red font, and action will have blue, orange, and so like color theory and that sort of stuff. Like they're really strict with it. You can't really deviate from it. You can't have like an action movie with a white background and red font. It's just literally not allowed. So if you're interested in that, definitely check out Dennis's episode. Yeah,
he kind of it was funny because he kind of explained the type of font coloring and font types you'd see on certain type of movies, as in, an action movie or a love story. And when he explained them, it kind of put all the pieces of the puzzle into place. And it's like, crap, yeah, of course. You see that movie like that and you see that sort of font basis on it. Even if it's not one that he's done, you see the same pattern.
Yeah, it's super strict, really.
Of colour layouts and things.
It's been like that for decades as well.
Based on what type of movie it is. Mm. Yeah, crazy, man. Crazy. And then episode 33, this was just deep and interesting with Hugh Kretschmer, who's an award-winning editorial and advertising surrealist photographer. Now, if you haven't heard that episode, definitely go and listen to it, because a lot of Hugh's work, even though it looks like composite, is actually all done in camera.
He spends a lot of time building sets and, building items and that sort of thing.
Even if it involves shooting 100 layers of imagery to then stick them together on set. He'll then photograph the final 100 layers to make a final shot. So yeah, deep and interesting to talk about why he does it.
Yeah, very interested to hear somebody, especially in this day and age, still taking the time to do that is great.
Yeah, deep and interesting. And then Jake, episode 34,
John Giannetti,
commercial photographer and creative mentor and business coach. He does, I think, more creative mentoring and business coaching nowadays.
He had a background with a design agency, right? Is that right?
He still owns a design agency, yeah. Still owns a design agency, but he's been a photographer for more than 40 years, hasn't he? So
yeah.
But some good insights. He had some good basic knowledge, I think, as well, of simple things that people forget of, like
social media promo. He had some wise words on that about how to promote yourself and get yourself out there. And I found that he came at it from a pretty practical standpoint. I think his point of view. Look, if you want a career in photography, then if you want to make money in photography, then do A, B, C, and D. And I think some people come from it from a different angle. You can sort of build it up on the side, and then if you make a little bit of money from it and slowly build it up and build it up and build it up as a second job. Whereas I think Don just goes straight in. Look, this is what you want to do. You want to quit, do this, A, B, C, and D, boom, and build on it from there, which I thought was an interesting take on it. Yeah.
Interesting formula. Yeah, definitely. And then we come into some of the later last couple of episodes, where episode 35 was with the lovely Gillian MacLeod, who has been a wardrobe stylist for decades and then turned model in her 50s, who is now, getting booked for modeling work more than she is her stylist work now. And the beautiful long silver hair, man, is envy for all of us, really, especially at that age. And she was looking great. So to listen to Gillian and her stories and everything else, and how she's changed career paths, still doing both, but doing more of one than the other, and how she's coped with it and how she's found it.
I think it proves, it's never too late to turn things around and change what you're going to do,
Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly.
Never too late.
Never too late. But yeah, beautiful episode. And Gillian was lovely as well. Lovely to speak with. And then another lovely silver, long head, beautiful lady who's also modeling as well was the lovely Libby Delana, who's an award-winning creative director and model of recent. Yeah, in her 60s now. Yeah, just great episodes. We've just had some really amazing creative talent over the year, considering we only go every 2 weeks.
Yeah, and I think towards the the tail end of 2020, we spent a lot of time talking to people who had extensive experience in the industry, which was fascinating, really. Like people who've been in the industry 40, 50 plus years, and to hear their thoughts and the way that they do things and see things, I thought was fascinating, really, because, you talk to somebody a little bit younger, I don't know, Von Wong, for example, and, they're coming at it from a different point of view, but hearing somebody who's been doing it for a long period of time and seeing how they tackle things, it's great to get that perspective and contrast.
Yeah, 100%. And not only that, they've seen the layers of our industry change over that time period as well, where it was and how it, some almost say it was at its best, and how it's changed now the current day in digital age and everything else. So yeah, to get that sort of slant on it and see how they've seen that the industry changes was super interesting. And that takes us on to, just to let people know, this will be coming out on the 1st of January. The next episode after this one, that'll be episode 38, and that will be with the amazing Tara Shannon. Now, Tara Shannon was a supermodel back in the 70s and 80s and 90s.
Fascinating.
Sort of a household name back then. And she worked with some of the world's greatest photographers like, Helmut Newton and lots of interesting people like that who were sort of my inspiration growing up, which was amazing. Reuven Afanador. And
she had a lot of interesting stories from, days on set with some of these just incredible photographers of their day, of their time.
Yeah.
And we're talking about a time where there was just a small handful of people just absolutely at the top of their game.
Yeah.
And to think that she was, modeling damn near every day, all day, all over the world back then for these people and the stories that she had to share were absolutely fascinating. And whether you think that was the golden time or whether, you know, each period of our photographic, you know, life is the golden time, it's just different. However you want to look at it, that was certainly a memorable period in our photographic history. So it is, I mean, like to hear those stories. Definitely, please check out that episode.
She'd worked with people like Albert Watson, Horst, Avedon, you know, Helmut Newton.
I mean,
and she's photographed them as well. She did. She used to photograph all her own sets, you know, behind the scenes as well.
That's right.
All those guys.
She said she's got them all on like 110 film.
Yeah.
Which is like,
That's an amazing episode. She was an amazing woman to speak to, and the stories were just amazing to hear about the photographers on set.
She had a lot of energy as well. It was just an absolute pleasure to listen to her talk. You know?
Yeah, and that was such a good episode. We've split that into a double, so that's going to be a double episode.
So we've got January off, basically, is what Wayne's saying. So.
Yeah, 1st and 15th. Yeah, that's it. Taken up, done. But yeah, 2021, you know, that is what an almighty bang of a launch for 2021 would be. Agreed. A double episode with Tara Shannon. Yeah, absolutely amazing. Well, what a year it's been for us on the podcasting. It's just been almost, you know, we almost needed to do more frequency because the amount of guests that we've got queued up.
It's good. You know, I think it was a good mix. I think it'll be interesting to mix it up again in 2021 and, you know, try and get a perspective, some younger people again, see how things are progressing for people, see how they dealt with 2020. You know, I think it'll be an opportunity to speak to some people who were in the industry during this 2020 period and hear what they thought about it and what changes they made and how they dealt with it.
Be interested to see, you know, what creatives are doing to try and keep, you know, they're part of the industry alive in the creative industry that we all work in, because it has affected all of us in a big way. And we don't, it's a Christmas season. We don't want to get too down on this episode about it, but we know it's affected everybody and still affecting everyone. So we are aware of it. And and would be interesting to hear.
We're all big boys and girls. I think you know, I do think that it is something that, and we will talk about it, you know, later on. We've got some listener questions that I think are great questions that I think maybe cover some of the thoughts that many of us have had this year. So
indeed. Well, in all fairness, we can jump on over to the listener questions if you like. We'll get those in.
Sure, yeah. I mean,
some interesting points.
Like I said at the start here, I didn't give you guys a huge amount of notice on this, so I apologise. I sort of
about 6 minutes.
I sort of got out of the shower and was like, shit, I should probably ask the community if they got any questions for us for the Christmas episode. So, so I just asked out there if anybody had any thoughts or things that they wanted to ask us about 2020 regarding shooting. And I'm just refresh the page. I've actually got a few more here. So let's start off with one. Here we got one from Darren Hopkins. He says, did either of you feel during this pandemic that you might have to change your careers? The creative industry seems to have been hit one of the hardest.
Do you want to go first on that one, Jake?
Not even once did it cross my mind to change careers, I'll be honest. And when I'm a little bit older now, I suppose, well, I mean, I was 40 in 2020. So, I mean, I've certainly been doing this for about 20 years. And I'll be honest, I did have a little bit of a gap in there, but fundamentally, this is all I really know how to do. I mean, sure, I could, you know, try and find a, you know, job in a shop somewhere. That's not beneath me. I don't care. But certainly this is, taking pictures is all I know how to do. And it's certainly what drives me. Mm-hmm. I could be, you know, as long as I can make just enough money to get by, I would far rather do this that I'm super passionate about and absolutely love to do and just, you know, live, eat, sleep, breathe it, as opposed to doing something that doesn't do that for me and makes a lot more money. I mean, I'm sure I can make a lot more money doing something else, but it's just not me. So no, for me personally, no, it was at no point did I ever think that I wanted to change that. Yeah.
Same for me. Yeah. I've not thought about changing my career per se. You know, I suppose if a personal situation, you know, was more financially dependent and it was at the stage where it would force you to make a change in your career, then yeah, probably. But, you know, I'm lucky enough not to be in that position. So I've not thought about changing my career. Could I change? Yeah, I'm quite an adaptable person, really. I'm quite handy on the, DIY side of things as well. So painting, decorating, laying tiles, doing electrics. I'm kind of pretty hands-on with all that sort of stuff. So I could probably change quite easily if I wanted to, but or drive lorries or whatever, But no, I haven't thought about changing my career. But it has sort of kicked up some ideas about adapting your business, I would say, rather than thinking of a different career. It's more adapting what you currently do to either generate more work or make your work just as successful. And I think everybody's had to make change in that. And, I know
well,
people
on
are getting...
that then, Matthew Hicks has got a question here. No relation, by the way. What have you guys done to adapt during 2020? Have you found new outlets for your work or taken on different work, Wayne? So that kind of leads into what you were kind of going into there.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Now, I sounded full of promise there. I haven't taken on any new types of work. I shoot what I shoot, and there are little bits of work I shoot that you won't see on my websites or in my current fashion portfolio because it's not fashion or beauty based. It's still commercial work, but I don't ever post it up. So I do have some little jobs that I do behind the scenes, if you want to call it that. But what have I done? I think the important thing, if you've got a business, is to keep your branding alive. Because even if your photography business is your name, it's still your brand. And, I did a webinar recently about using social media as a commercial platform to promote your business commercially. And I think keeping yourself alive on those, just so your name is still out there, is an important thing. If you haven't seen the webinar, go and find it online somewhere. But, it is, depending on what type of business you've got, depends on what platforms work best for you, because not all platforms work for all types of photography businesses, if we're talking photography. But I would say, if you need to adapt, then, transition sideways, not too far away from what you shoot, and see if you can offer a creative product as an end result from the work that you do as your main income. Even if you look at gifts and selling online, I think selling online has become quite big, especially during lockdown.
Sure, yeah. And to answer that question myself, for me, I was fairly fortunate that I have a very avid online community that is fairly engaged. So I was able to offer training online relatively quickly. In all honesty, like as soon as it started to kick off in March, April time this year, I was able to go, look, if people want to speak to me about improving their work, get some feedback on that, or even just direct training, covering the actual workshops themselves in terms of lighting and how to change things and keep things fresh. And even I was doing retouching people's images, for them, whilst they were on the call, and going through, things that they could do to improve the way that they retouch in the future. So I was very fortunate in that I was able to turn things around. But yes, in terms of actually shooting in person, all that dried up. Yeah, almost instantaneously. Yeah. My workshops dried up. My live shows dried up. Anything I'd booked where there was any people present, kind of dried up as well. So, yeah, any people present.
Yeah, anyone present in the same room.
Here's one for you, Wayne, from Frank Job. He says, if you went mirrorless, do you feel your perfect focus hit rate would improve? Now, I know that you have done that. I haven't gone mirrorless, but I know that you have gone mirrorless. Did you notice the hit rate in focusing go up?
The hit rate in focusing? Do you know, it's not something I've ever thought about, really.
I mean, because the biggest thing for me is that with DSLRs, we have the ability. I mean, even like on the expensive Nikon cameras, you got 64 focusing points. I know, but they're all clustered in the central, in the center, which is not. I can't focus to the edges. Whereas with mirrorless, you can put the focal point, right in the top left-hand corner if you want, and nail focus every time. So, did you notice that?
I think it depends what you're shooting, and I think with the mirrorless kind of thing, people got to realize that in the early mirrorless systems, low light focusing could be somewhat not as accurate that if your scene was well lit with early mirrorless ones. I mean, that's far surpassed and got far better now. And now Canon's got dual pixel focusing, and Fujifilm and Sony and everyone has got eye detect and eye focus tracking and everything else, which are now absolutely just out of this world in terms of accuracy. I think it still depends. I know my Fuji has 425 focus points in one of those. And do you need to use them all? I mean, it's very selective. I still pretty much use one focus point. And I may move it.
I mean, you can only wear one pair of shoes at a time. Mate. No, that's it. I mean,
Yeah, and I change the size of that focus point depending on what I'm shooting and how close I'm shooting. In all fairness, but if you want to call it a technique. So if I'm shooting beauty and close up, and the eye is my central point of focus, then I will make sure that my focus point is on the eye in my compositional frame. Whether you move your focus point or whether you focus and recompose, you can still do both, but with mirrorless systems, if you're doing that close up, your image will still be slightly soft if you focus and recompose because of the way mirrorless systems focus. If you're further away across the room, you're probably not going to see the difference. But yeah, I sometimes move the size of my focus point. If I'm doing fashion where the eyes aren't that important, then I will focus around the chest area with a focus point because I'm shooting perhaps full figure and it's not relevant. So yeah, I adapt to the scene, really.
And I'll just add my 2 cents to that. I mean, I do a lot of workshops for people, and a lot of people turn up with, mirrorless cameras with the focusing. And I do see that in the sort of studio work that I do that perhaps has, we're in a dark studio, we have the flashes set up, but maybe we have LED modeling bulbs, right? So they're not super bright. And then you put like a beauty dish and a grid on that, LED modeling bulb. Like you lose almost all of the brightness from that modeling bulb. And I do see the mirrorless cameras struggling, drifting in and out to focus. Now, maybe that's just the tech, right. And I will say that a lot of the times that's because people have set it up for eye focusing, so the camera is like, I just, got to help me out here.
Yeah.
So I think if you do switch to mirrorless and you're using those features like Wayne has spoken about, and I would say at least have the ability and the knowledge to be able to work without them. Get experienced enough so that if those features fail in very low light, have the ability and the knowledge to operate quickly without them.
100%. For example, if you're shooting on a tripod and your composition is set, you've got your model in front of your backdrop and your camera's not moving because you need the composition to remain the same for whatever purpose, magazine layout or whatever. If your model's not moving forwards and back, then you don't need to be tracking her focus. The distance remains the same. So have a slightly bigger focus point further down the body somewhere. And then you can just direct, with your face away from camera and press the button when you're ready to capture. So yeah, don't think you need to be as technical and use all the gadgetry in cameras, because sometimes if you're not used to them, they can hinder your results rather than benefit. So sometimes it's best to go simple.
It slows you down, and I can see, I mean, again, just speaking from experience, but I've seen people like the Sony cameras, for example, phenomenal pieces of tech, but can be very convoluted in how you access that tech unless you are absolutely all over it. I mean, because like I said, you're working in a dark studio, you're fumbling around with the buttons and that sort of thing. And if you're fumbling around and you're not sure what's going on, like the model is going to start to feeling anxious. Is it me? All that sort of stuff. So it's just, speeding up that process and just being able to, operate without those features is going to be essential, really.
Sometimes simple is best.
Exactly. Yeah. Another question here, which I presume is directed at me: how do you use a light meter with colored gels? From Nigel Raymond. I presume he's trying to bait me in there. So how do you use a light meter with colored gels? So
has he been in one of your workshops, Jake?
Briefly, he has been on them, but I think he's raising that because it is something that I've spoken about before, and I do see some people using a light meter with color gels, and I see people teaching it online as well. You just need to be very careful when you're light metering with color gels, because that light meter is seeing in gray. It's seeing in, what is it, 11% gray, 30% gray, whatever it is. Whatever, like it's seeing it. It's just seeing that base exposure. Whereas your color gel can be heavily affected by the exposure of your light. So let's, for example, you've got an orange gel on your light. If you have a lot of power going through it, it could be a nice bright sunburst yellow. Or if you have not much power going through that strobe, you're going to have a deep, ochre orange color.
So it affects the power of your light. Basically, affects the density of your color.
It can do as well. And a light meter cannot tell you that, because a light meter is going to tell you that this is going to look great in gray,
Yeah. The brightness of gray.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think Nigel was probably making a joke with that comment there, but at the same time, I do think it is a valid question and something that I see people perhaps stumbling with as well.
Yeah. So, sadly, when you come to gel work, you've got to adjust the power of your light to get the saturation and density of the color of your gel to suit your shot.
To what you want, not what the light meter
what you
wants.
want. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Light meter's not going to do the creative side for you.
Exactly. Yeah. We have a question here from Paul Grew. He says, "What are some bad recommendations you hear from other photographers?" Wayne, have you heard?
Paul's actually just put a message on one of my images earlier today. Some bad recommendations from photographers.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he's talking about probably advice. Like, have you seen somebody like online giving bad advice that you're like, that is bad advice, I wouldn't do that.
Do you know what? I try not to dive into that world of listening to other photographers' advice.
No, well, okay, yeah.
I'm not saying that pig-headedly. I've been in the industry over 25 years, so you kind of know what you know.
I suppose maybe he's talking about. Maybe you've seen somebody else giving, bad advice to somebody else. Maybe.
Oh yeah, I've heard, and this was in a live show as well. And I won't name names, but I have in a live show somebody explaining light coming out of modifiers, and the distance of light to a subject, and about shadowing, and they actually got it completely the wrong way round about the density of shadow with the size of light shape and distance.
Okay,
and it was completely back to front, but they said it so confidently, the audience were just. Rolled up in the belief of that. You see people with notepads and everything, and you think you're just taking that information down all back to front. And I think if this speaker who was giving the demonstration was to view that recording back afterwards, they'd probably curl up and die in a corner because the information was completely back to front.
I mean, like we've all made mistakes. I've certainly made mistakes in some advice. I got color profile. I think I recommended the wrong color profile once,
Brilliant.
on a video that's out there forever. Like it happens, man. It happens. But I think some of the big stuff is like Wayne said. I try and only take advice and feedback from people that you truly respect the work of. Maybe
Yes.
Don't get me wrong. I'm guilty to being offended or hurt by somebody saying, "Oh, that's pretty, crap. I don't know why you bother sharing that," or something like that. It's like we're all humans, but just really try and get into a position where you're taking feedback and recommendations from people that you truly respect, and that their work speaks for itself. It's not about how many followers they've got on bloody YouTube or any of that shit. It really is about
not.
their
It's
work.
about the quality, not the quantity, for sure. No matter how that's taken.
Yeah. One of the biggest ones I keep hearing is adding a grid changes the density or the hardness of light to a light. So like a grid to a softbox is going to make it a harder light, or a grid to a snoot or a is going to change the density. No, a grid just makes the pool of light smaller. It doesn't make it any harder or softer.
Yeah. I've heard that. On that point, actually, Jake, I've heard people explaining it, and they're kind of right. But if they just changed, if they added another sentence on the end of that, it would have been perfectly correct. I think it doesn't. Now, physically speaking, it doesn't change the density of the light. It doesn't change that whatsoever. The grid just helps control the light spread, narrows it. But to the human eye, it can almost give the effect to our human eye of almost adding more contrast to a scene. Now, if we take that apart, it doesn't. Why does it not add more contrast? Because it's controlling the light spread, it just means there's not so much light hitting the shadow areas which now look darker. It doesn't change the density of light. It just controls where the light goes.
Yes. And I would probably just add the caveat to that. Wayne's absolutely right in what he's saying. And I would probably add the caveat to that in that people talk about lighting on YouTube. And I'm going to use YouTube as an example because YouTube is just like where photo knowledge goes to die, really. It's just so many absolute myths on it. Just please be careful. But people tend to explain lighting in a vacuum, okay? So they go, okay, we're going to point this light here, we're going to put a grid on it, and that's going to change, like the speed of light. And Wayne's right in that the shadows appear darker because what's going on is that in a real studio with a white floor and maybe a white ceiling and white walls, like light is going to be bouncing around that environment. Okay. And even though you can't see it in the shot, light is bouncing around that environment. It's maybe going to bounce off the floor, and it's going to bounce up underneath the chin. You're going to have a little bit of light in the shadows. So people can be like tricked into thinking that because when I add a grid, I don't have as much light in the shadows under the chin is because I've changed the density. It's not. It's just that you've changed the amount of light that is bouncing around your environment. Okay. So like I said, just always remember that lighting doesn't happen in a vacuum. Just because you can't see light in the shot that you're taking, it's bouncing around your room and it will affect your scene. Yeah. So, having maximum control of it with grids, barn doors, those sorts of things are going to change the pool of light, but it won't change the density of light.
Yeah. I mean, that's a deep topic all on its own, lighting.
Oh yeah, we went down the rabbit hole there, mate. But I mean, get us two talking about lighting is scary.
Pull up a chair and grab a coffee.
Yeah, just one more here. Have you seen an epidemic of overdone skin smoothing? This is from Stoke Parker. I've seen a time period where more people have access to taking images and sharing images online. And I think that with that has come the advent of new apps and new
auto filters.
Exactly. Yeah. Plugins and that sort of thing. So have I seen an epidemic of overdone skin smoothing? Yes, but I think that's only because we're seeing more images. And I think that those images are being shared by people who hopefully haven't been shooting and retouching very long and don't know how to do it properly.
Yeah. Well, not been retouching at all, judging by some of them.
Yeah. It's just like you got Portraiture Pro or whatever it is, and like it's just using an algorithm,
Yeah, and there's a lot of apps on, for mobile, iPhones, Androids, all that are coming out now. They're going, my magic app, look what it does.
Yeah.
It takes my crater face and turns it into a porcelain model. Yeah. Yeah, there's lots out there. And I mean, in the commercial world, there was a period a few years ago where skin was very over shiny and plasticky looking in terms of retouching, but that was done via makeup and retouching, so it was just emphasized in the retouch. That phase is kind of not really there anymore. And if you look at a lot of commercial work and advertising now where it involves people, you'll see a lot more natural and almost, and I say this quite strongly, almost unretouched images are going out there now, where the shots are being so natural where the skin is left alone, which is beautiful to see. Really beautiful to see natural looks out there without being overdone and killed.
Right, last question then. This one more here from Matthew Hicks. Which one photographer would you love to interview, and what would you like to get from them? That again from Matthew Hicks.
Yeah, mine would actually be, he's sadly no longer with us, would have probably been Helmut Newton, one of my big inspirations from the day, who sort of helped, built my fashion career really.
Okay.
In the day. Helmut Newton would have probably been one of my go-tos if he was still around. Yeah, 100%.
And what would be one of the questions that you'd want to ask him?
Oh, man, that's a tough one. You pull your photographer first, man. I'm going to think about that one.
A photographer that I've always admired and respected the work of is a fashion photographer here in England called Nick Knight. And has been just an absolute phenomenal, in my opinion, one of the greatest shooters of all time, and has been at the top of his game for decades and decades, probably since the 80s, 90s.
Artistically,
100%. And what I think I respect about his work so much, for me, what I'd want to ask him is like, what's his mindset? Because he's made mistakes. When I say made mistakes, I mean he's made images that I would perceive as like haven't aged well. So like photographs that have like digital emojis in them and that sort of stuff. Now at the time, like in the 90s, that was like pretty crazy and out there at the time and doing stuff. Hasn't aged very well, but he's always had the ability to put himself out there and try things, and so many people are too afraid to do that now. So I've always respected him for going against the grain, as it were, being crazy. Like he was doing phenomenal gel work like in the 90s that would still hold up to this day. So that would be, one of my questions is like, what's his philosophy on coming up with a new idea? How does he come up with that? Is it just, I just want to do something different, or is it just come to him as a...
Yeah, because in all fairness to Nick Knight, his ideas, when he had new ideas, they were so different to the previous one.
Yeah.
They weren't just a little bit different. They were,
and they're not always going to work. They're not always going to land. But that's okay, because when you do find ones that do land, they're like wow, and they stand the test of time.
Crazy. I think mine, Helmut Newton, would be what drives you to be, because we all think we're passionate about our work, without a doubt. But back then, you got to remember in the fashion industry, people like Helmut Newton were innovators of the fashion industry, photographic. And to be around in that era where they made fashion industry its massive stamp on the map for, big commercial purpose from there on in, I think would be what drives you to be that passionate every day. And where do your ideas come from, and what do you see? Because obviously you're photographing models every day. What do you see in every different person? What drives you? I think trying to get some of that depth out of him would be interesting, because the gear was irrelevant, I think, back then. As most commercial photographers will say, the gear is irrelevant. We don't care. We don't care about gear.
More so almost back then as well,
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just a box with a hole in it, really.
Good questions, man. Good
great questions. Yeah, thank you so much, guys, for putting those in. And I certainly appreciate it, because, I only gave you an hour. So you guys really came through on that front. So I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you for that.
But, if people want more questions answered in the show, then maybe you could just go along to podomania.com and drop it in a contact form. Drop us an email if you've got questions for any upcoming shows. Maybe we could put that in as a feature at some point and just do, a few questions here and there in some of the episodes. Be cool.
Yeah. That'd be good.
Yeah. They were nice. Well, Jake, should we take this opportunity after that little subject change in the Christmas series? Should we jump over and both be cannonball fire for the rapid fire, not so rapid fire round?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, just to be clear, we haven't shown each other our questions, and
no,
Wayne,
true.
Wayne was very smug in telling me about his 10 questions for me. So I can only assume mine are pretty in depth, they're pretty detailed. I don't think he's ready for mine, but
Mate, I just wish people could see our screens, because obviously we got video link going on here, and I'm sat in a whole freaking Christmas scene here. I've got a Christmas tree behind me, in snowy mountains with a dark starry sky with snow peak scenery in the front. Of course, none of it's real; it's just overlays. But I'm in a festive spirit. Yeah. I had a Christmas hat on for a while, but that's since gone.
I've got coloured LEDs flashing different colours, if that helps to give you some idea of the amount of effort that I've gone into on my end.
Yeah, and no effort of mine, mate. My hair and beard are going so grey now. If it just grows a bit longer, I've got Santa straight away, man.
Nailed it.
Yeah, no effort needed. Yeah. Okay, folks. Well, let's break for this Christmas edition and go into the rapid fire, not so rapid fire round, where we stick each other on the spot for the first time ever. Who's going first, man?
We'll do one question each, right?
Are we doing one question each, back and forth?
Yeah, let's do that, yeah.
Okay, so our lovely audience, you've got 20 random questions that may be related to photography. It may not be related to photography, and it will probably contain no information that will give you any knowledge or gain in life.
Oh, mine are serious questions. Mine are all about photography, like serious questions. This is like an interview. Yours are all like, what's my favorite truncheon or something like
favorite truncheon. Oh my god! Oh god, I've got to save that as a soundbite out of the show. What's your favorite truncheon? Brilliant. I have to cut that in with another line somewhere.
So go on then, Wayne. You go first.
Okay, folks. Well, wait for this white knuckle ride. It's Christmas, so I've tried to keep mine a little bit festive on some of them. Okay, Jake, I'm going to find the first one of you. You primed?
I'm ready-ish.
I can see the game faces. Come on. The game face is on. Okay, man. I've bought you a Christmas jumper to wear. What would have to be on the front of it to keep you happy?
It would...
we take it seriously, folks. We take it seriously.
Do you think you could find one where Santa is lit with gels? Do you think there's one out there?
That would be fucking amazing.
Do you think you get...
Next year, my friend. Next year.
Maybe even an oiled up lady wearing a Santa's hat in gels. I mean, I would tolerate that.
Mate, I'm going to go one better. Next year, we're gonna build a set, right? We're going to dress you up as freaking Santa in your red Santa suit.
Yeah.
We're going to get the little Santa lady oiled up in gels, and we're going to shoot that, and I'm going to have that printed on a freaking jumper, mate, for next year's episode, and we're going to YouTube it live.
Wow.
Stuff.
Brilliant. Already
going for gold.
Wayne's
folks, if you want that to happen,
2021, by the way.
Yeah, if you want that to happen, folks, put it in the comments. Jake Hicks on a jumper for next year.
My question to Wayne, keeping it grounded, is fave camera of all time. Not that you haven't owned it. It can be any camera you want. Fave camera of all time that you would have, not Fuji, because I know that you are supported by Fuji. So I don't want to put you on the spot and say it has to be a Fuji, but you're not allowed to be a Fuji. So it can be any camera of any time period.
All time.
No money budget. What would it be?
Oh, geez, man. Favorite camera of all time. Can I pick 2?
I'll allow it.
I would probably have to have one of the Hasselblads that was on the moon.
Oh, okay.
Not the standard version that you still get, the old 500 series, but the one that was actually adapted for the moon.
Okay.
It's not going to shoot any pictures any better, but I just want that freaking awesome design and case and everything else that it went into that enabled it to go to the moon in the first place.
You just want that bloody great big grid of geometrics on every shot that you take. That's the one.
I just want the casing that it was in as well.
On every
man.
one of my portraits.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's it. Corner mark. Yeah, crop marks. I think one of those would be quite nice. And then I'm going to go a bit old school, mate. I'm going to go like something like a
even older school.
I'm going to go Linhof 8x10.
Oh, okay.
Big format.
I don't think you're ready.
You're probably right. Man. It's been so many years.
Skill at Wayne out in the garage with his wet plates.
Yeah, I've not shot film that size for God knows how long. Yeah. So that would be my 2 choices. Okay. I think going old school back into film. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Some classics. Historical classics. Either that or the Leica I saw in an auction house the other day. There was one of the original Mark I versions that went for something like 1.4 million or something. That would be nice. If anyone's going to send that over for Christmas. Okay, right, moving on. Okay, Jake, I've come on a shoot with you, just for moral support, of course, because you don't need my assistance. Suddenly, your camera dies. Would you use my Fujifilm I'd have on me in my bag to shoot with?
I mean, I use any camera, but which camera? Which Fuji one?
It's got to be what specific model?
Well, I mean, true. I mean, like there aren't really, to be fair, there aren't really any bad Fuji cameras. To be fair,
no. Well, I'm going to. Shall I give you the options that are in my bag? Currently?
Yeah. Okay.
All right, you got GFX 50. It's in my bag, and next to it is the XT4.
I mean, I'll take the cheating box of the GFX 50.
The GFX.
Yeah.
I knew it.
I knew it. I could just probably put that on the floor in the same room as me, and still get decent shots out of it. Yeah.
True, mate. Yeah, I knew that wouldn't be a difficult question.
Yeah, that thing, is phenomenal. Yeah, the latitude that thing has is outstanding. Yeah, really is. Yeah.
See, question wasn't so bad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Come on, then, bring it on. I'm ready for it, man.
Favorite movie director of all time?
Really? Favorite movie director? Jeez, man, that's a tough cookie, isn't it?
Just trying to get just a little peek into the weird and wonderful mind of Wayne Johnson.
Yeah, see, I like
what visually inspires him.
Yeah, for a bit of a twisted perception sometimes on some of the films, not all of them, because he's made some which they're not overly excited about. I do like the creative mind of Luc Besson.
Okay.
Obviously, he's made some action films, but made some very good creative films as well.
Like what films?
In the past, Angela is one. It's for black and white. That's really nice. But he has done a lot of. He's done some martial arts action films as well, which are a bit weird.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but I like his more creative side. Going back to proper cinema. Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
Luc Besson.
Angela.
Yeah, I must look it up, see how it is pronounced properly, because
you say it was all
the A
black
on
and
the end
white?
is different. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, Love is black and white, yeah. It's really cool.
Don't need to see that one. That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you'll like it, mate. It's Look at the lighting and the story. It's very cinematic. So, yeah, you'll like it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, no, so, yeah, Luke, I'm going to put Luc Besson.
Okay.
Why? Because it's one that's at the forefront of my mind and doesn't require much thinking.
Right.
So, mate, this one's quite a simple one. Favourite food?
Pasty. It's got to be pasty, isn't it, really?
I wouldn't know the go-to on that one.
Yeah, pasty.
The pasty.
I mean, like a good, proper, like homemade
Cornish
pasty,
steak.
though. My gran used to make them, and they were length of your bloody arm. They were.
Yeah, proper pasty, yeah.
Yeah, it's not just
hang off
the piddly
dinner plate at both sides
you get in the shops. This is,
Yeah, you pay £5 for it.
At least.
London.
At least.
Yeah, at Waterloo Station.
Yeah.
So,
£5,
please. What?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, those. I mean, back in the day, those pasties used to have jam in the end. For the miners, so they had jam in the end. A little bit of. So you'd have your savoury, and then you'd have your sweet at the end. As long as you didn't start
half and half
at the wrong end, you were fine.
Yeah. See, that was quite a kind question for me. Yeah. What would it be if it wasn't a pasty then? If it wasn't coming back from the home roots?
Probably pizza. Mate, I'm a simple man.
Yeah, I was waiting for those words. I'm a simple man. I could almost said that line for you. Nick.
Well, I appreciate you holding off. If you couldn't be a photographer, Wayne, what would you be? You just bleep out the obscenities that I'm about to give.
I quite fancy being like a carpenter or something.
Okay. Yeah.
Still creative.
I get that.
You know?
Yeah, creating something with your hands and something that wasn't there before.
Still something in my hands. Definitely creative because I come from a creative background even before photography. So yeah. I was a painter and things before. So I don't mean painter as in painter and decorator, but painter as in art painter. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You had me for a second then. I was like, okay. Yeah, that's cool.
Okay. You can get him to paint my living room when he comes around. Yeah. Probably a carpenter. Yeah. Something that involves quite intricate woodwork. I think something quite nice. Yeah. Something quite soothing for the mind in that. I think.
I'd be interested to see if you take that up.
Yeah.
Could you see you whittling away?
Well, a lot of people don't know, mate. I did make my own electric guitar, which I still have. Yeah, made it 20 years ago, mate. I still have it. Still stays in tune better than any guitar I've owned.
Really?
So there you go. Yeah, I'm quite creative. Okay, Jake, coming back at you, my friend. Hold on to the seat for this one. Jake, I want to inject some colour into my photography. So if I bought the Jake Hicks gel packs, would they make my images look even more amazing than they already are?
I'm glad you asked, Wayne.
And he really didn't know these questions were coming, seriously, folks.
I didn't know.
We have written these off screen.
I will allow the plug. But yes, if you did want to take your images from good to amazing, then adding some Jake Hicks photography colored gels, also now available on my website. Then yes, that would definitely improve your image no end.
Well, when I get lost for inspiration, mate, look out for that purchase.
Question number 4, criteria number 4. One light and one modifier. What would they be? This is right up your alley. This is
one light, one modifier.
You're
gonna love this, mate. You're gonna love this. I can already see you shrinking back into your chair.
I know.
One light, as in as in flash or
at this stage, Wayne, I'll allow anything.
Okay. It doesn't matter whether it's strobe or continuous, mate.
Go for it.
I'm gonna pick that, and I'm probably gonna go for like an Octa 90.
Wow.
As my modifier.
Okay. Keep it clean.
A few options with the 90. Yeah. I've got outer diffuser, inner diffuser, no diffuser. I've got silver inside on its own. I've got a harsh light, hard light, soft light. Yeah. Give me a 90, my friend.
Oh, brilliant. Love it. I mean,
that'll do.
To be fair, you are right. You do have a lot of options with it. I mean, not really that many with one light, but I mean, you do have options.
Bounce it around. You'll be okay. Question 5. Okay. Santa's leaving you a bottle of something under the tree, my friend. You've been on a good list this year. What would it be?
Gin, I think. Yeah, gin. I am a gin man. Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah. Whiskey and that sort of stuff makes my teeth itch. So, I mean, yeah.
Whoa. Hold on. Did you just say whiskey makes your teeth itch? I just got this image of you trying to scratch your teeth with your fingers.
It's just not for me, man. Yeah, it's not for me. Yeah. So I'm more.
Well, that's something we need in the feedback. Does anyone else drink whiskey and it makes your teeth itch?
Yeah. So yeah, just a bottle of Mother's Ruin for me is absolutely fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What's your biggest screw up on set?
Oh yeah. That's easy, man. Yeah.
Straight in there.
Straight in there, man. Yeah, biggest of my whole career when I was assisting. Yeah, and that was you probably heard this one before anyway. And that was on a car shoot, big commercial car shoot, and shooting 5/4. And I was it was my job in amongst the chaos. It was quite a chaotic situation at the time. Not usually like that. Chaotic. I had to take the 12 dark slides. People don't know what that is. A dark slide holds 2 sheets of film. That's 2 shots, people. 1 shot on each side. And
I
had to go.
4-inch black cartridge. That is reversible. Yeah.
It's got a little sliding latch on it that you take it out. And film back then, you load them. You have a little dark bag on a table and you put your arms in there like surgeons' sleeves, and there's all blackout. So you can't expose the film to daylight. So you've got to do it in darkness, and you can't see because you're outside in daylight yourself, and it's only your arms that are in the bag. So you've got to know the notches on your film to load the film emulsion the right way around in these dark slides. Anyway, I had 12 slides in the bag with me. And also in the bag was the box to put the film in the bag, in the box, then the double box. And on the right side of the bag, I had 12 new slides to load the new film in. And then partway through changing film, I got called back to set and then went back to set to unloaded the rest of the film and took the new 12 dark slide, 24 shots back to the photographer. And we were shooting the rest of the car. And now you've got to imagine back then, you don't see anything on a digital screen. So we take a shot, then we move the camera, move the tripod, take a shot, move the camera, move the tripod, take a shot. Only 1 shot per slide. And then I went to unload said 12 dark slides of 24 shots and realized there was no film in any of them.
It's a miracle you're still alive, mate.
About an hour and a
shot
half's
you on
worth
sight,
of
but,
about an hour and a half of shooting, because there's a lot of time taken to get the shot right when you're only shooting 24 shots, only to realize that those 24 shots that we'd taken all around the car had no filming whatsoever. To give people an idea, to process film back then for a car shoot was about £55,000 for the amount of film we'd shoot. Processing bill alone. Wasn't there much longer after that. Don't know why. Funny that. Wasn't my choice either. So, yeah, biggest faux pas. There you go.
It is pretty big, to be fair.
Yeah, that was like, tens of thousands of pounds worth of money. That was an easy one too, I remember.
And that was back in the 50s,
Back in the day when colour had just come in, yeah. Now, we know big shoot days, commercial shoot days, can sometimes take quite a few hours. What's the longest shoot day you've had? How many hours?
To be fair, I haven't had any ones that have gone over a huge amount. And that's usually because like everybody's rates goes through the roof as soon as you get past time. Models, there's model, it's just a nightmare. Studio rate, goes through the roof. Models go through. So to be fair, we haven't really gone over. I've had a shoot where I've had to do pretty much the entirety of the images that were required in 15 minutes. So my point being is that we had, pretty much all day setting everything up. I'd been ready for hours. It was the hair and makeup. They changed the hair like 3 or 4 times. They weren't happy with it. I had the model then for 15 minutes at the end to get the shots that they wanted, because it was like they weren't going to run over and pay extra. So yeah, and that's where you really sort of earn your money in that regard, because everything's got to go straight away. You're not fussing around in the Sony menu, shit's got to go. So yeah, I'll be honest. Yeah, I mean, I haven't had any crazy long days.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good, man. Mine about just over 18 hours. Yeah, 18 hours.
Somebody's
yeah. No, man. It just went on and on and on. Yeah. And then you finish at 2 a.m. and you're back on set at 6. Yeah, that was crazy. You answered your own question then. Okay. Yeah, cool. Sorry, man. Yeah, did I get running away with that?
Fuji could add one thing to their next camera. What would it be?
It would be a free ticket to Wayne Johnson. Yeah. Next GFX 100, please. Just a free VIP ticket would be lovely. I'll take that one in a post. Yeah. That was the quickest answer ever.
So come on, Wayne. Come on.
Seriously?
Yeah, come on.
Right. Oh, I thought that was a serious.
You're in there. You're in the trenches with Fuji. Let's hear what you've got to say on this.
Do you know?
It's a selfie screen. I know it is, but
yeah, selfie screen. Yeah. God, that's a topic on its own we mentioned off air. Do you know? I think cameras are packed full of so much stuff now. Technically, and autofocus and the way that's advanced and speed and everything else, it far surpasses anything we ever learnt on. I'm happy with everything that comes out. And to be honest, I don't use half the stuff that's in all modern day cameras. I'm a manual guy. So
I don't use 10% of it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I bet I use 10%.
Christ.
So for me, obviously, I do a bit of moving image as well. I do a bit of video. And I think that on some of the cameras that carry really good video functionality in the Fujifilm systems, taking into account like the X-T4 series is very small anyway, and packed full of image stabilization and everything else. The only thing, and this is a very, really tiny detail, I wish things like the HDMI port were full size for doing HDMI clean feeds out.
Okay.
Because they're micro HDMI. That's it.
Okay.
Because I think that smaller ports are quite, liable for damage and a lot of movement and things. So I think a proper HDMI port, something quite simple. I think the rest of the cameras are phenomenal in what they do. They far, far outweigh what I can do.
You guys have got double card slots in there and stuff, have you?
Yeah.
And are they the same size, as in like not compact or whatever they are?
They're both UHS 2s, mate. Yeah. Nikon caught up yet?
Yeah. I found an 8 megabyte compact flash card the other day. 8 megabytes. I found, I've got it, man. That is crazy, man. Yeah.
Okay. Where were we? Right. Okay. If you were going to put a new piece of gear in your bag, what would you choose? Money, no option.
Jesus
now,
Christ,
I know you're not an early adopter of new kit or new technology. Or is it just parting with money? I don't know which one it is. Well, I do.
Both, mate. It's both.
So I'll put that on the end. Money, no option. What are you going to put?
I've for years I've always had my eye on that. Yeah, I've heard of those. I've always had my eye on that medium format Pentax. And one of their decent portrait lenses. I mean, they're like 25 grand still or something. But
which one? Which Pentax?
The medium format digital one. I've forgotten the bloody name of it. I don't remember the names of the cameras. You and I looked at it years ago up there at one of the shows.
God, yeah. The one that's ugly as sin to look at.
That's the one. Yeah, bloody breeze block. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. Brett Hartness uses one all the time. Isn't it just Pentax 645 or something? Is that what it's called? Z. Pentax Z.
Could be that one. Yeah. But beautiful images from that thing. The lens. I mean, that's pretty stripped down. I mean, like the focal. It's only got like one focal point on it, I think.
Slow focus.
Yeah, and it's like it doesn't have any. I don't know, any features that would make your life any easier or anything like that. But
it's ugly as sin.
And
the menus are awful.
Yeah. Costs $25,000.
Yeah, I think they're about $3,000 now, mate. You can get them pretty cheap now.
The fucking lens is still worth.
Seriously, you look at a Pentax.
Right, I'll have a look.
Yeah, have a look. Yeah.
Christ.
Yeah, I think you'd be quite surprised now as technology has moved on and become cheaper on medium format.
For some reason,
devalued quite a bit.
For some reason, their business model of making the cameras that were terrible for photographers didn't work out for them. But yeah, no, I've always loved the images that thing has taken, and there's been numerous occasions where I've seen an image online and I've gone, that's beautiful. Love the drop off in that, and I've run it through a metadata scanner and it's spat out that camera. The amount of times that's come up is remarkable.
Okay. Yeah. It is Pentax 645Z. Yeah, it is that. It's got it up in front of me. Yeah, still ugly as sin, mate. Sorry.
Isn't it? You could hold it for 10 minutes and your hand would already hurt. Yeah.
Why would you put a tripod mount on the side of the camera that big? Seriously. Smooth thread. This idea, what's that? Okay, right. Well, that's quite humble, mate. I've gone for one that, Hasselblad on the moon, probably worth tens of hundreds of thousands, and you've gone for $2,500 645.
You cannot get it for that.
Wait, it's so cheap.
Look it up.
Now.
You can't. I don't believe it. It used to be. It was only a few years ago. The bloody thing was 20 plus. It bloody was.
Mate, even Wax are selling it brand new for 3.6.
Oh, okay. Hey,
you get it with a lens for just over 4.
Hey, now's my time. That's
brand new. Yeah. So second hand, mate. I think you would be about 1,500 quid. So.
Do you know what? I might finally get that thing.
Hold on. Santa's going to treat himself.
I might finally get that bloody thing. I'll probably get it and be like, Christ, it's got like, it's got no,
what I remember.
No features at all.
Yeah. Maybe go and look at it in the shop first again, eh?
Yeah. Does it take like micro drives or something? And
And if you want to borrow my GFX afterwards, then feel free, mate. You can see it at the same time.
Maybe it's just a nostalgia that's got me.
Yeah. They're probably about the same price second hand, to be fair. So, okay, all right. Okay, so you're going to have that in your bag. All right, fair enough. Yeah, that's to be continued on that one. Wait till he gets his hands on it. Okay, your question, man.
Oh, I'm sorry. Dream shoot in 2021.
How about the way things are going, mate? Just a really nice big campaign.
I knew you were going to say that. I know. I was thinking the same thing. Just anything with another human in a room would be fine.
Yeah. Another human in a room. Yeah. A campaign, so at least I earn something from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a nice big campaign, mate. Just a lovely creative campaign.
Whereabouts? Whereabouts? Like in a beautiful studio, daylight, or you're just going to dig out your one light and.
No, your one light, the sun, mate, would be my light.
Just don't even joke.
I'd like it. I'd like it in daylight. Nice location. Use nature's light for it. And I'd use hard reflectors, man, just to give me that pop. I just want something different for 2021, mate. Not the same as
I want to go outside.
Just want to get outside, please. Yeah, definitely. I'm going to go for that, just because that hasn't happened for a while.
Okay.
Okay. Now I'm doing a hair shoot for a shampoo commercial. We're on set. We're ready to go. But my model hasn't arrived, Jake. Would you step up as the model with your luscious locks, my friend?
Only if they had a decent fan.
I've got a big wind machine.
Oh, then okay.
Movie industry style. Yuri.
Yeah, I would obviously do it for the team. I wouldn't enjoy it, of course, in any way.
Of course.
But I would take one for the team.
Yeah, no pleasure. Just
exactly.
Well, folks, if that's an image you want to see on a T-shirt, let us know. We'll get it scheduled. We'll have merch on the website coming soon. Don't miss out on that one. Okay, man.
One piece of kit you can't live without on set, and no, it can't be your camera. So one piece of kit apart from the camera you can't live without on set.
Cup of coffee classed as a piece of kit?
No, Wayne.
Damn, it's not as easy as you think. That one, is it? Because you just removed camera, so that's that one out the bloody window. on set.
You can tell Wayne only shoots with one light. It's just like, well, I mean, that's all I really need. I mean,
no, I'm just thinking of like especially like I'm thinking of like C-stands, grip, dollies. I'm thinking backgrounds,
must be a fancy little piece of gear in there that you like. You know what? This saves my bacon.
Well, not photographically. I do have a multi-tool in my bag, which is a Leatherman, which I keep in there all the time.
Do you use it that often though?
Cutting backdrops, maybe.
Okay.
Opening things, doing things up.
Okay.
It can be a saviour sometimes when you obviously need something like that. But on set, I'd probably say reflectors, mate, would be go-tos just for bouncing fill or, at least cancelling out with some subtractive black or something like that, maybe to add some depth, maybe. Yeah, black, white polyboards if you want to go that big.
Just use another light, mate.
Just another light.
Throw another light in
or
there.
just use a light, but then suck out some of that light and just tone it off a little bit, yeah. Yeah, that's quite a tricky question, that. Especially when you remove camera out of the equation. Answer on a postcard, please. Completely random, this one, my friend. What ride do you hate in an amusement park?
I'm totally fine with them. This is going to sound really cocky and arrogant, but many years ago, I spent several years climbing and mountaineering and that sort of stuff and being in very dangerous environments on Earth. And after that, like the amusement parks and that sort of stuff tend to lose their edge. Yeah.
Yeah.
My wife hates it. I'm just like on a roller coaster, checking my messages. It just tends to lose its appeal, lose its fear, as it were. But I'm fine with all of them. Yeah. No, I don't have an issue with them. Yeah.
Fun through and through.
You could photograph anyone living or dead. Who would it be? I think you got the thick end of these questions, mate. Honestly.
Oh, I bloody have, mate. Mate, you've put questions in where I actually have to think seriously.
I got asked what my favourite drink was.
Mate, it would be.
You better not say my mum, mate. If you honestly, I can see you looking
your mum
up.
again.
I can see you online.
Do you know what? I don't know.
You don't know. Anybody, living or dead.
Yeah, but there's so many. So many.
It could just be a one light portrait, but you get a chance to have a chat to them. Come on.
Isabella Rossellini?
Bloody hell.
That's her name.
I'm sorry we did this podcast so early for you, Wayne. I didn't know that you weren't going to be prepared like this. I mean,
Mate, that was hard.
Okay.
Mate, that was hard.
So who is that?
That was a tough question.
Who is that?
Isabella Rossellini was an Italian-American actress from, not from the 50s. She was born in the 50s, but yeah, Italian-American actress around the sort of 60s, 70s, 80s.
I've got to ask,
60s.
This isn't on the list, but why do you want to photograph her?
Well, it was one of the many that I had to get my head around super quick for that question with no knowledge that one was coming. It was like I got sideswiped on that one.
Okay.
My brain struggled. Man. Yeah, if I had more time, I'd probably prepare a list. Linda Evangelista would be in there probably, all those kind of people.
Okay.
All the supermodels. Okay, man. Question 10. You have a new puppy and it's just cocked its leg in your mate's open camera bag. Do you tell him?
Yes, of course I fucking tell him.
Do you tell him?
Yeah. I tell him your assistant just dropped a cup of coffee in there, mate. You want to have a word? I see. You want to get rid of him straight away,
mate. I saw it. I know why your cameras were. Yeah,
outrageous. Yeah. I fired him though. Don't worry, I fired him.
It's all over. But don't smell your hands.
Right.
Oh,
your last question, Wayne.
Yeah, go on. Ready?
I can't promise it'll be an easy one. You have access to all the kit in the world, but you only have 10 minutes to set up a portrait for a celebrity. What's the lighting setup?
Where am I first?
In a corridor.
In a corridor? Has it got a window?
I don't make the rules. This is the question. It's the situation you're in. There's no window. You're in a corridor with no windows. You got all the kit you want. You got 10 minutes to set up the portrait.
10 minutes to set up? Just give me a single light and a softbox.
Really?
Yeah.
That's it.
Mate, you said I got 10 minutes.
Come on.
Well, I've got to shoot a portrait in 10 minutes.
Come on, 10 minutes. You can rattle out something fancy.
All right, 2 lights. I want a backlight for separation, please, and a bit of a hair rim, and I'm going to have a key light in the front for Phil with a soft fade off. I don't even know what colour this corridor is.
3 lights. Hair light, background light, key light.
Yeah. There you
What's
go.
the modifiers on those?
Front, well, it depends how big's my corridor. I can't stick a 1 by 1. It's
10 foot wide.
10
it's
foot
an American
wide.
corridor.
Oh, I was going to say, where do you live? How big are the corridors of your house? Oh, see, now I get more knowledge on it. In that case, I'm going to go for a bigger octa, please.
How big?
As my key light, I'm going to go for a 120 octa.
Okay.
That'll do me, Phil, for my key. And then I'm going to use, I'm going to go for a hard 6 or 7 inch reflector for my hair light.
Okay.
And I'm just going to diffuse the front. I'm just going to put some diffusion paper over that.
On the front of that hair light?
Yeah, on the front of that hair light, just to soften it, take that hard harshness
and
off there.
You can put up any background you want because you've got access to everything in the world in those 10 minutes. What background are you putting up?
What background? You said I was in the corridor.
Yeah, 10-foot wide corridor.
Use the background of the corridor, whatever's
you
there.
Got a 9-foot backdrop you can put up in there.
In a corridor?
I told you
I've only got a
10-foot
width.
Come on, what backdrop you having?
This is getting deeper. What's in the background of my corridor? Is there no natural scenery I can use?
Bloody mess. People walking up and down.
People walking up and down. Well, I'm gonna just tell them to piss off, mate.
So you're just gonna have an empty corridor in the background. Unbelievable.
Oh, fuck it, mate. We're gonna leave the people in there, and I'm gonna shoot that with a slower shutter speed for a bit of shutter drag on motion, and then become the blur.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay, cool. No fill
I'm
light,
gonna get one of your
straight in there.
I'm gonna
that's fine.
I'm gonna get one of your gel packs. Obviously, I've got a background light, so I'm gonna get one of your gel packs and just give them some coloured glow as they're turning into a blur.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I can see it.
Yeah,
mate, nailed it.
Wow.
I'm looking forward to that. Your dream corridor photo shoot in 2021 is going to happen.
I'll have you in in your Santa suit. Don't you worry. That's t-shirt number 3.
Wow, that was a quick fire round. Jesus, I can't believe anybody's still listening after all that. But if you are,
mate,
thank you.
I can't believe it. I'm thinking maybe after that one, we should have just done one of us on the quick fire round. I think
even my mum has switched off by now.
And I can't believe we've gone on for an hour and a half already.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, guys, and we will see you in 2021.
Merry Christmas, guys. No, we're not going to go on too much longer because we don't want to like drown your soul over Christmas. Trying to listen to this because this is only a single episode. So
5 questions each next year.
Yeah, maybe one. I think we'll pick up the pace a bit in this next section because we've not really got anything specific to talk about or detail anyway. But yeah, hopefully it wasn't too painful for your ears on the ever so slow rapid fire round that we just had between us. Gear for Christmas. What do you buy a photographer or a creative for Christmas, Jake?
Oh, to me, Jesus. These are great questions, Wayne. One
line, mate. Just buy one line.
These are all great questions. What sort of budget have I got?
The rapid fire round's over, you know.
I know,
that,
but like
not just in general.
Like, come on. Yeah. What sort of budget have I got?
Yeah, that's just a general topic of conversation. What do you buy a creative for Christmas anyway?
If it's going to be a photographer, honestly, like if you were buying like a photographer, a studio photographer, for example, I would you can't go wrong with getting them just like studio gear, like clamps and brackets and stuff, because that stuff is just you're going to have in your camera bag forever. I've got brackets and clamps and stuff that I've had for over 10 years. So seriously, they're expensive, but 20, 30, 40 quid on a couple of brackets. Super clamp, always going to use that. Right angle bracket, the umbrella holder, always going to use those. It's not sexy, but they are going to, that's a gift that they're going to keep, for forever. You're going to be passing that on to the grandkids. Yeah,
true. Yeah, they do generally last forever, unless you buy cheap copies, of course.
True.
Yeah. Or if you want to, if you want to really splash out, go for like a Leatherman multi-tool because they're not cheap. But
you mentioned that. And to be fair, I have a Leatherman in my camera bag somewhere. Yeah. I usually forget and they try and steal from the airport at the airport, but yeah. Yeah,
twice I've had to have mine sent back to me now. Yeah. Lovely airports, £25 or £28 a time to send it back because it wouldn't go through customs. Even though they let me out with it, they wouldn't let me back in with it. Strange that. Bizarre. Okay, and gadgets. And cameras and things. In terms of camera brands, we haven't done too much deep diving into this because
we're probably not going to do it now. But yeah, we
probably not going to do it now. But we were just talking about perhaps listeners can just put some feedback in on the website. Just let us know. What do you want for Christmas? If it's something creative or photographic or anything or video or anything like that. What sort of things are you asking from Santa to bring you or your better half? What would you like in your Christmas sack, so to speak? Now we know camera-wise, just stopping on it, Canon, they stopped making EF lenses. When was that? Last year or this year?
I thought it was this year. Olympus, they've stopped, or they've sold on their Olympus name in terms of camera. I think they'll probably still continue, but somebody else will probably still doing it.
Yeah. Just a little thing for me. I think they're quite good because I own one. DJI have now recently released the Pocket 2. If anybody doesn't know what it is, that's a little portable gimbal sort of video camera, of course 4K and everything, very slim, hence why it's called the Pocket. They've released that with a new wider lens with a wider aperture and a bigger sensor. So they've made a lot of improvements on that. So if you're doing sort of moving image on the fly, really good quality. And you can use it commercially. Still does pump out good imagery. That's nice. I've got the original. Kev Mullins has the original, but we'll ask him about that when we get him on a podcast because I know he had a love-hate relationship with that. He loved the idea of getting one, hated it when he had it because it had a mind of its own. It's quite funny. Saw him trying to work that in the back of a cab once. It's hilarious. We'll get that out of him in a podcast. So yeah, DJI have the Pocket 2 come out recently in terms of that. What else would you have for Christmas? New hard drives, maybe? Store the images from the digital
these
world?
are some sexy presents, right?
Sexy presents. Yeah, he's creative. Would you buy them crystals to shoot through? Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. I love what you want for Christmas. I want that new lens. How much is it? $3,500. Okay.
Yeah.
What about drones? Do you think if there's a lockdown, I mean, you're allowed in parks and stuff. Are people going to be ordering more drones for Christmas just to try something new, aerial photography?
I guess. You got to be careful with the laws. The laws is different everywhere now, and it's changing all the time. Yeah. So you do got to be careful, but yeah.
Wise words. Yeah, you got to be very careful. There are a lot of strict laws on drones and that now. And one new exciting piece for me, obviously being a Mac user, is obviously Mac have recently released the new Mac Mini and new Mac Air MacBooks and things with the new M1 processor in them. If people don't know what that means, it means that Apple kind of got fed up with Intel not advancing fast enough on graphics and speed of processors and things. So Apple took it upon themselves to develop their own chip. And it's called the M1. And I don't own one, but I've seen reviews on even the new Mac Mini where they've released it with the M1. And the base model, Mac Mini, the smallest one, standard, off the shelf, is faster than some of the Mac Pros now in video editing as well. It's like super. It's 3 times faster than the old Intel system version. And, Mac Mini is what, 699 quid? With a performance power that's most advanced neural engine. They've got 3 times faster CPU performance and up to 15 times faster machine learning. And you can use apps on it now as well. So that's exciting. As they start bringing out the pro versions of those with the iMacs and things, that's going to be awesome. So, good on you, Apple, for bringing out that. That's going to be astronomical going forward in terms of speeds for big files and moving image files. It seems to be working, so well. It's such a price, $699 for a Mac Mini. That's it really, mate. We only wanted to touch on a little bit of Christmas things. I think it'd be nice to know what you guys get for Christmas. Would be nice to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Drop us some comments on the website. Go over and we can read some of those out in the new year, perhaps, in the next episode of some of the feedback we got of what you guys either wanted or what you got or what you wanted and didn't get, perhaps. I wanted this, but got that instead. Let us know. It'll be fun. Christmas dinner. It's going to be, Christmas meal for us. Just Christmas turkey as usual, my friend. Bit of festive fun.
Well, I mean, I was going to travel down to see my folks in Cornwall, but obviously that has been scuppered here in the southeast. So, we are probably just going to go see a friend locally and do that, which would be nice because they had a similar situation scuppered by the last minute lockdown. So let's not end on a bad note. Let's keep it upbeat.
Keep it positive. Yeah, my dear old mum was going to join us for Christmas, but obviously due to COVID restrictions now, that's not going to happen either. So it will be just me, my wife, and my daughter. Obviously, Christmas is for her, really. So she's super excited about it and counting the sleeps that are left.
Bless her.
My 6-year-old is super excited. Super excited. How about that for a Christmas episode? We've waffled on quite a bit about
I know we wrapped up
random stuff
fairly quickly at the end there, and we did actually have more that we were going to talk about, but seeing as we've gone on a little bit with the questions and that sort, which I think was better. I think we had some questions from you guys, some questions for Wayne and I think that's any monkey can read the news. But this was I think this is good. This is good.
Yeah. And this was a fun episode. It was all about being fun and nothing really specific. So we just wanted to give you some light-hearted stuff. Now, to let you guys know, just in advance before we wrap up the show, what have we got planned for you in 2021? This, as I said, the new year is going to start off on the 1st with the double episode with the lovely Tara Shannon, ex-supermodel from the 70s, 80s and 90s. A phenomenal woman with phenomenal stories. So that's a 2-parter. First one out on the 1st and the second one will be out on the 15th of Jan. Don't miss those because just a really fun, amazing woman to talk to. And apart from that, my friend, I think that's going to wrap up our Christmas episode and time for us to start going to get a bit festive, I think.
Yep.
You need to get your Christmas jumper on, buddy, I think.
Yeah, well, I got a live stream in a couple of hours, which I'm going to do some community edits. So you guys post your images and I'm going to color tone those live on stream. I'll give away some presets for people who join early Christmas present, but really just be chill out. I might even have a drink.
I'll be on there, mate. I'll be on there getting those presets. Oh no, shit!
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that. I think you can convert them now. Anyway, but to be fair, after that live stream, I'm probably I think I'm going to call it for the year for me.
Just
me trying because like this year I didn't have a holiday. I didn't like, you normally you schedule in a time to go away and do something and chill out and that sort of stuff, but didn't happen this year. Didn't actually take an actual break. So yeah, I'm going to try and take a couple of days off guilt-free. It never works, but I'll try at least. Yeah.
I've already accepted it in my mindset, so I'm not feeling guilty about it whatsoever. I am certainly going to finish this podcast. The recording of it, I've got to edit it maybe tomorrow quickly and get it up online. Yeah, I'm going straight into Christmas festive mode. I've got to finish, as you know, Jake, other people won't know, I've got to finish doing the Christmas picture on the French doors, which I do every year, finish painting those, Christmas scene. And then, to be honest, mate, I'm going to just get festive. I'm going to sit and have a nice drink, maybe eat a mince pie. And I'm not going to be back until January.
Do it, mate.
Not until January.
You've earned it.
Yeah, I'm going to take the whole thing off and enjoy family time, I think.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Because who knows what 2021 will bring for us. So we need to be, take the downtime when you can.
Yeah. Who knows what's going to bring for us, apart from look forward to my 2021 online workshops and more mentoring and seminars via Zoom. Yeah, lovely. You can sign up for those. Go to my website. They'll be there.
But yeah.
No, in all seriousness though, to our listeners, we just want to thank everyone for staying tuned with us through 2020 and since we started this podcast in the end of 2018. Wow.
Okay.
How about that
2
for
years?
a memory bank? We just want to say our audience base has been growing superbly all over the world, and it just keeps growing every day. And we really, truly appreciate the listeners and all the comments you give on all the different pages and forums that we're on. We've had some beautiful comments over the years of people loving the show and our humour and our banter as individuals, our personalities, which we kind of bounce off each other quite well. And we love that. We love a bit of fun in our podcasting. So yeah, we really appreciate that. Yeah, we certainly look forward to getting back to some in-person interviews with guests next year if COVID allows. We've already got some scheduled in if we're allowed to do it. And to be honest, we can't really, we can't wait for that because we have so many amazing guests lined up. It'd be nice to do in-person stuff.
Yeah,
100%. So on that note, we just want to thank everyone for being here. And we hope everybody has a really, really lovely Christmas and Happy New Year. And as always, people, remember, if you'd like to help support us to produce and record even more great interviews with some of the world's greatest creative talents, your support and donations are very much appreciated. And for those that don't know, you can find our donate button on our website at www.podlemania.com/donate. And if you like this episode and don't want to miss out on new episodes, then please make sure you subscribe to us on your chosen podcast player, or you can subscribe to us at podlemania.com/subscribe. And as always, you can find us on Apple Podcasts, iTunes Store, Stitcher, Spotify, Podbean, Podlemania, and about 35 others. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. So from us over here at Podlemania,
Merry Christmas, guys.
We're going to go and get a bit festive.
Stay safe.
Stay safe, everybody. Enjoy your Christmas
We'll
periods.
see you
and we
in 2021.
See you all in 2021.
Take care, guys.
Bye-bye from us. Cheers, guys. Bye.